Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I am joined in Cincinnati by Sam Schneider of Primetime Sports Talk, and we are here to preview the upcoming game against the Miami Dolphins. And it's not the game we said this in the last episode. This is not the game we anticipated we were going to get, which was the Tua Burrow, showdown. But we're traveling down to Miami, and as usual, we'll talk about the things we're feeling good about and the things we're not feeling good about. And I just have two major things here that I'm not feeling good about. And the first one is that Brandon Allen is our quarterback. That does not make me feel good. And the second thing I know it's a game time decision on whether it's Fitz or Tua. I don't think it matters. It'll be a different game depending on who plays, but either one of us, I think, is going to be more than enough offense to outscore us. So that's something I'm not feeling good about. Their quarterback versus our quarterback. So
yeah, I think you were coming off a game with Brandon Allen where we had like 155 yards of total offense.
And most of that was on the junk drive at the end that didn't mean anything.
Yeah, and he didn't look great. I think we had 3.5 yards per play for the game. I want to say that maybe with a full week of practice, they'll get Brandon at least a little more acclimated. You can't overcome talent,
right?
But certainly practice helps a lot. As far as Miami goes, Fitzpatrick, it was weird that he got benched for Tua, but it also wasn't because it's Tua. And they were like, let's go for it. And, I think he had 12 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He can turn the ball over. I have a feeling he's who we're going to see under center for Miami on Sunday.
I think so too.
Because I think they'd be a little more protective of Tua, even though they're 7-4, and Fitzpatrick was like 1-2 as a starter, something like that, before Tua took over. Most of it was defense that had.
No, they had a better record. He was better than 1-2, but I don't remember why they made the change, but I think Flores just wanted to get Tua out there.
He was. I'm sorry. He was 4. You're right. He was 4-3.
Right.
Fitzpatrick was 4-3. So then, since then, and he played a bit of a game before Tua came in, and just in relief. And then Tua was 3-1 after that.
Well, Tua was 3-0, and Tua, but those 3 wins wasn't the reason they won the game. Their defense was producing a ton of points and really jumped into the top 10. And I don't know what they're rated right now. I think they're a top 5 defense overall. But it was the defense that won those games. He was a good game manager, and I think when he was asked to actually win the game, you saw that they pulled him. So. And
they didn't ask too much of Tua, which is, a big deal. We asked a lot of Joe Burrow this year before he went down with injury. They didn't ask too much of Tua. And Miami's defense has been, pretty surprising this year. They're first in the league, first in the NFL, in stopping people on third down. And as you know,
we're not good at third down.
The Bengals have issues. The Bengals have issues on third down.
Yeah, that was another thing. I had the Miami defense is something I wasn't feeling good about, and
yeah, and they're second in the NFL in defensive points per game. They're only giving up 18.6, which in a year like this, when scoring is way up,
right?
They're only second behind Pittsburgh, who we saw fairly recently. So yeah, that defense between the points per game allowed and the third down conversions and having Brandon Allen under center, you can't exactly get terribly excited about that.
No. And I don't know what kind of play calling we're going to get. I really don't. I don't know. So I don't want to bring up the coaches. I talk about them every episode, so I'm not going to say anything. But I just don't know what kind of play calling we're going to get. I don't. I've already said it. I've gone on record saying I don't think we win another game. Looking at the schedule, I mean, we've got this game, then we've got Dallas, which is the
That's a
game
win.
that's the game you think we're going to win. I think Andy Dalton has his. That's his coming home party. And then we got the Steelers. And then, unfortunately, the Steelers aren't the last week of the season where they might not need the game, but they're going to need that. And then,
right, where they rest everybody, right?
Yeah. And then, but then the Texans, and then Baltimore, who I don't think is going to make the playoffs. So Baltimore is going to look to just exact maybe some good feelings at the end of the season. They're going to want to win that game just because it's us. But,
Yeah, I guess this is a different episode for us because I think we'll just go back and forth on the what I don't feel good about, what I do feel good about, because you just brought up something that I felt it was when you said play calling, it gave me a wild hair, and it's that the Dolphins have played really well. I mean, they've got 17 straight games with a takeaway,
right,
which is that's kind of enormous. Like
right,
17 straight, especially when you consider how bad they were last year.
right,
That's a big thing. But they're also giving up over 130 yards per game on the ground. Their passing defense has been way better than their rush defense.
right.
So when you say the play calling and the coaching, I really hope that it's different from last week where our leading rusher isn't Gio with 8 carries.
Right.
And that we actually say, well, let's try it. I mean, Brandon Allen, for all we know, could be an effective game manager, but you can't just put it on his back.
No,
You can't
no, he doesn't
expect
have the
him to,
talent for that.
yeah, you can't expect him to go out there and throw for 350 yards. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's unacceptable. So you've got to put the ball in the gut of Gio and try to take advantage of, Miami has a really good defense, but they've been susceptible to the run. They give up almost 5 yards per attempt.
Right.
So you've got to try it. You have to. Otherwise, play action doesn't work. Passing doesn't work. They blitz you. They drop people back in coverage. You got to keep teams honest.
Well, and until Brandon Allen shows he can put it down the field, they're going to, even when they pass, the coverage is going to stay in tight. The safeties are going to stay in, the corners, and they're going to pack the box, and they're going to say, okay, beat us over the top first, It's kind of like I always use golf analogies. When I'm playing, I always take more club until I fly greens. Once I start flying over greens because I'm hitting the ball that well that day, then I'll pull back. But until then, you usually come up short on the green. So
that's
go for the back of the green until
when you start flying greens. That's the moment where you go, well, I'm getting pretty good at this.
Yeah, well, that's when you know your swing's
I'm
good.
going to club down. I'm going to club down a little bit.
That's right. You feel good. So, well, we're good. So let's talk about the things we feel good about. I feel good about our defense. I mean, I think our defense will keep this game relatively close for maybe the half, maybe midway through the third quarter. If we don't run the ball and control the clock, they're going to get worn down. It's if they're on the field 2-1 on time of possession, come the end of the third quarter, you're going to start seeing them get worn down. But eventually, I just think that Fitzpatrick will be more than enough. He'll put up more than enough points to beat us.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with that at all. And it's the same issue we had last week. I'm gonna keep harping on this point. We've got to get the run game going,
yes.
even if it's not really working. We have to go with the run because otherwise you just throw 3 passes, you go 3 and out. The offense is boom off the field in 45 seconds, and the defense is like, all right, back to work. And they grab their lunch pails and get back out there. And you can't expect your defense to continue producing like that when you don't give them ample time to rest before they get off the bench and get their asses back out on the field. And so we've got to try. We've got to try to run the ball. Even if it doesn't work, you have to try to run the ball and run a little clock and say, let's give these guys a second to sit down on the bench and relax.
Yeah, and hopefully, like I said, then you keep their defense out there longer, and we've got a shot. We can't go with 8 carries with Gio. We talked about this, and we can't have our longest run be a 7-yarder that was a fake punt. We just can't have that.
Right.
At the end of the day, you run the ball 12 or 13 times, and your longest run is a
was that only 7 yards for
7 yards, and it was the longest run. It was the longest run of the game. So
I can't believe. By the way, we didn't say it in the recap. I can't believe that we ran the same play. I think it was 2 weeks in a row, or was it twice in 3 weeks?
What's that?
Where we snapped it to Sean on the fake punt.
I think it's twice.
But it was twice. I don't know if it was back-to-back weeks.
I think it was back-to-back weeks, but
or if it was twice in 3 weeks. I can't believe we did it again, and I can't believe somebody else fell for it.
Yeah. We're not going to get the kick return for a touchdown this week. Miami will know. They will kick it out of the
especially because Brandon Wilson's got a hammy.
Right.
So right now he's on the injury report. We don't know.
Oh, so who's going to be back returning kicks? Is it your favorite guy?
It's my favorite guy,
Alex Erickson. So we're going to see. You can make that face all you want if that's who they're putting out there. They roll him out there for punts. Why would they? He's returned kicks before. So.
Well, maybe we'll suddenly activate John Ross off the IR.
Oh, I'd love. You know what?
And put him back there. So it'd be one of our favorite guys.
Yeah, well, I would.
The only thing that would be better is if they put William Jackson III back there, I'll be standing up screaming at my television.
No, they put John Ross back there, and that will be the end of his season because he will catch the ball. He'll try to do his speed thing, and somebody coming down on coverage will just tag him, and he'll crumble because the guy's made of glass. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it's fair to say that Miami is trending in the right direction. We already talked about how they started the season and how they've done since. And they're 7-4. They're in the midst of a battle in the AFC East, and I don't think anybody really saw that coming. And not only that, but after us. They've got to deal with the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Raiders, and the Bills. So this is a game for them that might as well be a must win.
Oh, yeah. No, looking at their schedule, they have to win this game. They have to win this game. Then they'll probably lose to the Chiefs, but they have to obviously beat New England because it's a divisional game. And then they're going to have to beat the Raiders because – that's one of the teams they're fighting with on the tiebreaker, so they're going to need
and the Raiders haven't really been slouches this season. No. I'm not saying they're a great team, but so this is one of those where if you're a Dolphins fan, you say you got to get this slam dunk.
Right,
the Bengals are a slam dunk. You got to take it.
Yes.
You got to go to 8-4 before we get to this nasty stretch at the end. But again, I mean, they started 1-3. Since then, they're 6-1. They've beaten the Rams. They're taking it out on the NFC West. They've beaten the Rams. They've beaten the Cardinals. They've beaten the 49ers. Miami is not screwing around.
No.
So they're going to come out. They're going to come out gunning for us, just to put us away and keep pace, with the Bills in the AFC East.
Right. Their last game's against the Bills, but I have a feeling the Bills will have already clinched the division by then. And because there's only one bye week, which is obviously going to go to either Pittsburgh or Kansas City, you're not talking about playoff positioning, and home field doesn't mean what it meant. So being 3 or 4, I don't think is going to make a huge difference. So, So I don't think, but yeah, no, this is a team trending in the right direction. Listen, we lost to this team, thankfully, last year in overtime, which got us the Burrow pick, because if we had won that game, Burrow would be on the Dolphins. We'd have Tua. And I don't think Tua is anywhere near the player Burrow was, because
No, and
we were able to drop the
he's
whole team on Burrow's shoulders, and he basically carried us for the first half of the season.
yeah,
So,
and I think Tua is going to be an amazing quarterback. I really, really do. But I still, given the choice, and I think most Bengals fans would, given the choice, I would still take Burrow.
oh,
Um,
there's no question at all.
100% of the time.
And Stephen Ross, the owner of Miami, wanted Burrow. I mean, there were all the rumors that they offered us all 4 of their first rounders. And I said the reason they were willing to give us that is because they know Burrow's that much better. So that's why I kept preaching to stay put. But
I did like, if I could, Mark, I'll mention, just as far as injuries go, I like the fact that Xavier Suafilo was activated, which is good, especially because your favorite traffic cone, Alex Redmond, is dealing with a concussion.
yeah, he did not practice the last 2 days. You're
Yep.
absolutely right with a concussion.
And Suafilo should be the right guard anyway. I'm not saying he's amazing, but he's sure as hell better than Alex Redmond for sure.
Yeah, no question.
And then on the other side, you've got, besides the question between Fitzpatrick and Tagovailoa at quarterback, you've also got Myles Gaskin is questionable at running back for Miami. Salvon Ahmed is questionable.
Right.
I actually they've still got Matt Breida, but I actually look for Patrick Laird being the guy that they might go to if those first 2 guys can't go.
Right.
But, Mike Daniels practiced. Geno practiced.
Full practice for Mike Daniels today.
Yeah. So hopefully, hopefully those guys will be able to play and will actually force them into passing situations. As I said earlier, Fitzpatrick, 12 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. We can turn him over.
Oh, yeah, we'll get turnovers from him, but I think he throws up enough. I think either one. If Tua plays, this is going to be Miami's going to do a more ball control kind of approach, and I think that then we're looking at, and I'll jump right to our predictions here with the final scores.
Sure.
If Tua's playing, I think we're looking at more of like a 23-6 game with Miami winning, and if Fitzpatrick wins, I think we might get a turnover, but I also think that Fitzpatrick will put up 27, 29 points, something along those lines. So I'd go 27. I'd go 27-13 if Fitzpatrick plays, and I'm assuming on a defensive. I'm assuming a short field defensive score of some kind. Jesse Bates, pick 6, something along those lines. That's why I'm giving us the extra touchdown. Otherwise, I just see a couple field goals.
It's a little surprising to me, Mark, actually, that you give us less points if the rookie quarterback is playing.
Well, I just don't think. I think they're not going to put, like you said, they're not rushing Tua along. And one of the things that Brian Flores has shown is that he doesn't ask Tua to do things he doesn't think Tua is ready to do.
Right.
So they kind of reel it in. So I think the game plan's a lot different if Tua's in there. I don't think we're going to have the ball aired out like that. I think we're going to run. They'll run the ball more. They'll run more high percentage passes. They're not going to ask him. Fitzpatrick, they're just going to kind of take the leash off him and let him go. And he's going to sling it around and he's going to hit some, and he's also going to have some intercepted, So
yeah, for sure.
That's who he's been his whole career.
For sure. If you're playing fantasy football this weekend, I think Devontae Parker is a slam dunk.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm talking like 8 catches for probably 100 yards over the middle. And our linebackers have done very, very good this year. But Fitzpatrick, he showed it last year. He loves Devontae.
Right.
After Preston Williams went out, it was just Devontae over and over again. So you got to look at that. And excuse me. And as far as gambling goes, I think the line is somewhere, depending on what site you're on, somewhere 10.5 to 11 points.
Right.
I'll do what you did. I'll go straight into my prediction.
Go
I
for it.
think gambling wise, it's 10.5 to 11 points in favor of the Dolphins. I was a little surprised actually that it was that high, but that just tells you what Vegas thinks of Brandon Allen.
Oh no,
Um,
the Bengals, their offense last week. I mean, the score may have been
anemic.
like we had the ball and we were trying to drive to get back in the game, but the game wasn't that close.
155 yards of total offense is
Right.
never going to instill confidence in anybody. All I can hope is that, if the offensive line is being a little more cohesive and they give him another minute and he has a full week of practice, that'll help. But
They're going to give him another second. They're not going to give him
yeah,
another minute.
dude, 1 second is huge, right?
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I'll go right into my prediction. I will say if you're gambling on this game, take the Dolphins minus the 11 or 11.5 points.
yeah.
I've got Dolphins 30-13.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if it's because
And that's with Fitzpatrick, or it doesn't matter who plays.
Fitzpatrick is what I was planning on.
Yeah, that's me too. I limited practice for 2 of the last 2 days. I don't think there's any reason to roll him out there for this game. I think they can win with Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, why would you?
Right.
Why would you bother?
Right.
I don't see any reason to at all. And I don't know if our 13 is because we go for a 2-point conversion and fail, or if it's literally 1 touchdown and multiple field goals by Fat Randy.
Fat Randy. Yeah.
But either way, I'm talking definitely a 17 point difference.
Right.
And with a line of 11.5, I think you can beat Vegas on this for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's I kind of have the same feeling. So, but all right. Well, we will be back with a recap right after the game, as we usually do, and tell them where they can find all your stuff.
Sure, you can find me on Twitter at Buy and Sell You. I write for Primetime Sports Talk. You can find us at Talk Primetime or primetimesportstalk.com. And please subscribe to this channel.
Subscribe. That's all we ask. Subscribe. So, all right. Well, I hope everybody has a good rest of their week. There was no Thursday night game. We've got a really weird week next week because I think we got 2 Monday nighters and a Tuesday.
I still got my, even though there wasn't a Monday or a Thursday night game,
hey,
I still got my Joe Buck Sucks koozie.
Thursday night, it's a Joe Buck night. It's a Joe Buck Sucks koozie night. So,
you're damn right.
That's right. So, well, everybody have a good rest of your week. We will check back with you on Sunday right after the game. And I'll say, hoo day, everybody.
Hoo day.
Take care.